Good evening, West Orange. Welcome to the March 21st, 2017 council meeting. It's the 6th meeting of the year. We have a few items on our conference agenda, so we'd like to get started. The first one is the mayor's proclamation. Yes. Excuse me just a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The annual notice was emailed to the Star Ledger and filed in the Township Clerk's office on November 28, 2016, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on December 8, 2016. Councilwoman Castellino is absent this evening. Councilman Cirillo?
Present.
Councilman Guarino?
Present.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Present.
Council President Krokoviac.
Present. Our first item on the agenda is a proclamation from the mayor of the Brain Injury Awareness Month.
Sure.
We don't have someone to actually provide the proclamation to, so I've asked Councilman Cirillo to just read it so that we're more aware of the dangers of brain injury.
Thank you, Council President, and members of the public, members of the Town Council. Thank you for allowing me to talk a little bit about Brain Injury Awareness Month. And thank you for sharing your story, Council President, about your son, Paul. The Council President's son was playing baseball, and he slid really hard into home and suffered a concussion. And afterwards, he told me, as he shared that information, he says that it resulted in damage for several weeks, whereby he was having trouble performing basic mathematics. But anyway, that's a good segue on what we're talking about today. I know we also the movie Concussion recently came out. Will Smith talking about NFL football players and the effects of the sport of professional football on the brain, as well as you hear about this also at the local level. There's movements to regulate, improve equipment. Because it's a world that's still being looked at, being analyzed from a medical perspective, and as it's horrifying to some extent what we're starting to uncover with respect to what one single concussion can do to a human being. On a national level, the statistics show an average of 2.5 million individuals sustaining brain injuries. Out of those 2.5 million, around 500,000 are fatal injuries. And currently, in the United States, on a nationwide level, we have about 5.3 million folks suffering the effects of brain injury-related issues. Hello. So Mayor Parisi would like, and the Town Council would like for us to become more informed and also to encourage the general public to look more into this issue, become more aware, develop awareness. There's an organization, a nonprofit organization, for example, called the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey, a 501c3 organization statewide. What they do is they advocate for folks that are suffering from brain injuries, as well as raising awareness to the effects and also the latest research. In addition to that, the mayor, through his proclamation, talks about encouraging folks that are suffering or are going through this difficult time to join support groups. There are support groups throughout Essex County and throughout the state of New Jersey where you find out that you're not alone, and not only that, but become more informed as to how to address quality of life issues and any medical condition that may exist. So, Council President, with that said, this proclamation extended by Mayor Parisi and the Town Council resolves that the month of March is hereby declared as Brain Injury Awareness Month in the Township of West Orange. Thank you very much, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Next on the agenda is an update on downtown the Edison redevelopment by Mr. Sayers, our business administrator.
Thank you, Council President. Again, they're moving along quickly. They're working on the weekends. As you went by, if anybody has been by there, they're painting the outside. The one side of the building's been repainted. It looks very nice.
Scaffolding for
The
the
scaffolding, not scaffolding, but the studs are being up on the R over R, which is the residential over retail. They've even put in, if you notice, this part of the street's blocked off. That's for all the new sewer systems, new sewer hookup piping that's going into the building. They have the piping that's already in the R over R, so it's moving along pretty well, thank God. Keep our fingers crossed. Keep it going.
Councilman.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Chair, any updates on marketing materials?
You know what, I'm sorry, but I did not follow up on that. I will definitely do that tomorrow, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
I didn't follow up since the last meeting.
Are any of the new windows, I mean, I see all the plastic going up in the framing. Are any of the new windows?
Framing is in, no, they're gonna frame it all, and then they're gonna put the windows in. But
Okay.
they're framing it floor by floor. Looks pretty good. I mean, I was out there today again. I go out there every couple of days.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, I think it's starting to really.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Mr. Sayers.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Status of the cost accounting related to the $6.3 million in financing. Any progress there?
Our redevelopment council is working with the engineer, and I couldn't remember. And they're still going over the invoices. We haven't distributed any money yet. So once we get the green light from them and they're okay with what we have, then we'll start doing what we have to do. But as of right now, we're not there yet. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of information.
I know there's some bond issuance, proposed legislation on the agenda for tonight, and I don't think it involves the $6.3 million in financing, so that would be a separate
That's a separate
item.
issue.
Okay.
Separate issue.
Is there anything new on the discussions with PRISM about Phase 2 and Phase 3?
Not since the last meeting. We really haven't met, to be quite honest with you, since the last meeting. And again, like I said, we're going over some specifics on what's going to be Phase 2 and how quickly Phase 2 can get done with regard to the first phase, and then what they're going to do to move into basically what they're calling Phase 2B. But we haven't had any discussions over the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right?
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
Please.
I just have, I guess, a bit of a technical question for the portion that we are extending to the project, the half of that 6.2 million. Do we have to follow local public contracts law?
No,
No?
that's our contribution to that project for offset their expenses for the infrastructure. So there's, in a redevelopment zone, you can do that. So there's no, we're not involved in the procurement.
Right, but on their end, do they have to comply with public
They don't have
contracts?
to, no.
They
not.
don't? Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Anything else? No. We'll move on to the next agenda item, which is council liaison announcements.
May I, Council President?
Please, Councilman.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President. The first thing is I'd like to do, and we've never said this in a council meeting before to the public, just that there's an organization in town that's always there for many of our events, whether it's a downtown West Orange event, whether it's St. Patrick's Day Parade, anything that really is with a crowd or for emergency situations. I'd just like to put a big shout out to the public and to people present tonight to the West Orange CERT organization. This is a group of dedicated volunteers, men and women of the Township of West Orange who work within the fire department and really put their effort out for us on a volunteer basis where we need them, when we need them, no ifs, ands, or buts, and they're always there for us. And many of these members are well active in the community, not only with CERT, but other organizations throughout the town, young and old. And I'd just like to let the council know, and I think we should always be appreciative, and I'm sure the administration is, of what the West Orange CERT program does. So thank you to the West Orange directors and to the members of the West Orange CERT organization. And we're there for you, and we'll always do whatever we can to help you get whatever needs to be done. I know I've spoken to a number of service organizations throughout the community, so what what we can try to do is try to find you whatever we need to find you, and get more people to understand about CERT, and maybe get you also more volunteers. It's always good to have more volunteers than you need. So thank you very much, especially Ken Steele, who's the director of West Orange CERT. Thank you, and thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. Also, Council President, Downtown West Orange Alliance. Of course, we have on June 3rd is our fantastic ongoing Edison Day Street Fair. We hope you all mark your calendars on that. It's going to be another great time. We're going to have a number of food trucks, a number of food vendors, other items, activities for kids. Of course, you're going to have free admission to the Edison Museum. I mean, I've said this and I've said it again. There are many people who grew up in West Orange who live here and have never been to the Edison National Museum. So make an effort to come. It's a great exhibit. It's a great place to be. And it's free on Edison Day. Also, we have the West Orange, the 4th year, the West Orange Classic Car Show. There'll be some fantastic cars have to be 25 years or older, and it's being sponsored by the Poorhouse Pub down here on Main Street across from the development. There's a registration fee, $20 per car, and if anybody's interested, they can just reach out to our Executive Director, Megan Brill, at mbrill@downtownwo.com, and it's going to be a great thing, and my brother's finally coming with his 63 GTO, so it's all restored, so I can't wait to see that. Also, there is the Alliance Club, the West Orange Lions Club West Orange Annual Spaghetti Dinner, which supports a lot of organizations throughout West Orange. It's on April 5th. It's $10 per person. It will be from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and it'll be held in the West Orange Tarnoff Cafeteria. So it's another great way to come by, meet your friends and neighbors, and help support some great organizations in the township, particularly the West Orange Scholarship Foundation. So we look forward to seeing you there on April 5th. Some new announcements about some new businesses opening up on Main Street. Continue improvement. You have a new sushi restaurant to open very shortly at 435 Main Street across from the Oak Barrel. The opening date will be announced soon, and we'll put that out to you so you know. And they're looking forward to working and putting a new restaurant down on Main Street. It's in the formerly the restaurant was Goodfellows, so that's a good place. It's a vacant. Now it's going to be filled. There also is a new coffee shop, bakery, to open in the old Wagon Wheel. People remember the Wagon Wheel restaurant on Main Street, 255 Main Street. The owner is T.C. Garcia. She's a West Orange resident, and the new cafe will be called Willow and Olivia. So we look forward to introducing yourself to our new merchants, and another positive for the township of West Orange. And thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman,
Sure.
please.
Just to follow up on what Councilman Guarino said, since Ken Steele and Lee LeGrand from CERT is here, I don't know if you would like to come up and tell us how, I know you're always advocating for more members, but tell our residents how they can go about getting new members, how to become a member, right? Give us some information.
Sure. Or if you'd like to gather your thoughts and just come speak at public comment, that's...
Could
We
do that
sort of
as
surprised
well.
you with that, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have public
All right,
comment in just a
think of
couple
that.
minutes.
I told you we put you on the spot. So.
Thank you, Mr. Steele.
It's a CERT team. They can do that. And also with the Lions Club, I had that on my list too. Just so you do know, I mean, it's only $10. It's spaghetti dinner. Since March 1953, they have been having these dinners. And the proceeds go toward Camp Marcella, Camp Happiness for the Blind, St. Joseph School for the Blind, the Eye Institute of New Jersey, Diamond Spring Lodge, and the Occupational Center. So that's always been their focus for an eye foundation. Now that spring has sprung, there are lots of events happening around town. Presently at the Arts Council Gallery and Gift Shop at 551 Valley Road, the West Orange High School AP art students have an exhibit right now, and there is a reception on March 31st, Friday evening from 7 to 9. Everyone is welcome. But in the meantime, between now and the end of April, the work will be on display. The Chamber of Commerce, West Orange Chamber of Commerce, is hosting, actually sponsoring, the Manor will be hosting this year's Chamber Community Awards Dinner, where we honor a firefighter, police officer, educator, and a Business of the Year. That's on May 17th at the Manor from 6 to 9. And Just this afternoon, there was a meeting. A few years ago, the Chamber and Downtown Alliance and the PR Commission worked collaboratively to put together a health fair. We had 75 vendors at Liberty Middle School. It was a beautiful day. We're going to preliminary meeting today to talk about having another health and wellness fair, but this time outside at OSPAC. So more information to come on that. In the past couple of months, I've been talking about when I attended the New Jersey League of Municipalities Convention back in November, I was put in contact with the New Jersey Foundation on Aging and found out that their aging and disability, they have 63 videos. They told us that we would be on their the township would be on their distribution list. Finally, we made it to their distribution list. And the first video that I received that will go on our local access channels is the importance of sleep. And it was a very interesting interview between a neurologist and a sleep specialist doctor. So it's not just for aging, it's not just for people with disabilities. It was very informative for all of us. So look for that on our local access channels. That's it.
Oh,
That was enough, I think.
that's a very short list for you, Councilwoman. Councilman.
Yes, thank you, Council President. And Councilwoman, I'm looking forward to that video and learn about the importance of sleep so we can push ourselves to sleep a little bit longer. Anyhow, Council President, I do want to mention that March is Women's History Month. During March, we try to highlight the contributions that women make in, or have made in history and in our society. And I think that we should do our best to make sure that we don't forget that, well, not only in March, but every day, we appreciate the role that the women play in our society. And these initiatives were put into place as a way to create a higher level of equality, and in addition, to highlight some of the achievements, as I said, throughout our history. So let's not forget, thank somebody. It's Women's History Month in March. In addition to that, Council President, with respect to the council liaison announcements, the Degnan House will be meeting on Thursday, so I'll be giving an update for the next council meeting. And lastly, I see Jerry Sweeney in the audience. There's an immigration forum on March 27th. Maybe he's going to come talk about it during our open session at 7 p.m. I know that in our community we have a lot of advocates that would like to become more informed as to the specifics of that issue and what's going on a federal level, and as well as if you're a person affected, you're welcome to come in and become more informed. I'm hoping that Mr. Sweeney, the president of the Friends of the Public Library, will be coming up and talk a little bit more about that event. And in addition to that, the gala is coming up. We're still on for the April 30th gala. So talk a little bit about that as well. We want to support our public library as best as we can. I'm a big library proponent, and I'm looking forward to your presentation. That's all I have for today. Is anyone here from the Brain Injury Alliance? No? Okay. So I'm okay then. Thank you very much, Council President.
Okay. You ticked off my Friends of the West Orange Public Library announcement.
I'm sorry.
So we can move. No,
I'm sorry.
That's, you've saved time. You've saved time.
I'm going to have to add one more then after you.
Oh, then please go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So Saturday, I'm sorry that the West Orange Environmental Commission, this will be our 6th annual Earth Hour event. On Saturday, this is a global event. I think it's a phenomena, really, that 176 countries around the world and millions of people participate in this event. Please go to earthhour.org. We host an event at the Thomas Edison National Historic Park. It's going to be Thursday between 4 and 6. We have guest speakers from the Sierra Club. I can't think of everyone that's on the list. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Just a lot of good guest speakers and also students from the high school, Liberty Middle School, working, demonstrating projects that they have been working on to conserve energy or protect the environment. So the event is 8:30 Saturday, March 25th at 8:30. From 8:30 to 9:30, the idea is that everyone turns out their lights for just 1 hour and you see the earth go dark. And it just sends such a message about conserving energy for our planet. So it's a great event. Everyone can participate. You don't necessarily have to come to the museum for our event, but everyone can participate by turning off your lights on Saturday evening for 1 hour.
Councilwoman, thank you. You have also reminded Councilman Guarino that he has another announcement.
Thank you,
We're
Council
saving
President.
time.
Thank you to my colleagues. One thing is also is that last week we had our March meeting of the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Committee, and just to give you an update, the tremendous efforts that are being done between the County of Essex and the Township Police Department and the great members of our board is that we're putting together what we call our Road Diet project, demo project, that will be done and set up hopefully within the next month or so in front of the Thomas Edison Museum. And it's a pilot project to show how we can do actual road diets. And road diets, what it are, is that it's controlling the speed and controlling the diagramics of the roadway and making it safer so people are actually artificially forced to slow down. So right now, Mr. Lepore is working on the drawings and the demos, and Mike Miller and Lee Klein of my Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board, 2 traffic engineers, are working with him to put together this pilot project to put forward to the county, and the county is very, very enthusiastic about moving this forward. And if the pilot project works, the project will be rolled out to the entire length of Main Street. So thank you, Council President.
Which reminds me,
Go ahead.
this isn't actually an announcement, but it is a segue. We could wait till the end of the meeting, but I wanted to ask you, Mr. Sayers, if you had any sort of information about the police enforcement on Pleasant Valley Way this morning. I saw some references on social media, and just, I hate to put you, I apologize for putting you on the spot, but it's such an important thing to have traffic enforcement on Pleasant Valley Way, especially during school time, and we've been talking about it, and residents have come up and spoken about it, and I just, if you had more information.
I do not have any information on what happened today, but I do know that since issues with the Pedestrian Safety Committee and other residents, that we have been out there doing enforcement on a weekly basis. I can say that. I can't tell you how many days a week, because it depends on when we need officers for what, but we've been doing it on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Council President, if
Please.
I could add to you?
Please.
Just, and that's a good point, Council President. Thank you for bringing it up. The, what they call the enforcement stops. 3 weeks ago, in front of the Thomas Edison Museum, the West Orange Police Department and Traffic Bureau set up an enforcement area, and they had 62 stops, and of those 62 stops, 39 motorists were issued summonses. So they know we're out there, and the police department is really working very diligently. And thank you for bringing it up, Council President. It's being rolled out to Pleasant Valley Way and other areas throughout the township. So little by little, people will be seeing this this great effort on the pedestrian safety and the police department. So it's a good partnership, and thank you for bringing it up, Council President.
Okay. Any more announcements? That concludes our conference agenda. We're ready to move to our public meeting. Madam Clerk.
This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The annual notice was emailed to the Star Ledger and filed in the Township Clerk's office on November 28, 2016, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on December 8, 2016. Councilman Cirillo?
Present.
Councilman Guarino?
Present.
Councilwoman McCartney?
Present.
Council President Krokoviac?
Present.
Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The council is now in their public meeting.
First on the agenda is public comment. I see a lot of people here. I hope they're interested in providing some public comment. If you would be interested, please raise your hand, be recognized, and then I'll ask you to come up to the lectern, and you have 5 minutes to speak. We'd ask that you start off with your name and address, and we would appreciate it if you would spell your name. It's a little bit easier for the clerk. Is there anybody who'd like to speak? Please, Mr. Sweeney, come on down. And please, you can be next. Is there anybody else who's interested?
Good evening. My name is Gerald Sweeney. I live at 24 Oak Bend in West Orange. And I want to first thank everyone on the council. I've lived in West Orange for over 30 years. And in my view, this has been the most exciting, most proactive time. There's a lot of good things happening. You got building. Each of the council people are taking very proactive actions to improve the town. I see the battery building going up every day. I drive by it every day. I see the Central Avenue development. So I see a lot of good things there. But there's another lesson I want to tell you. I'm the president of Friends of West Orange Public Library, which was formed in April of last year. And this year was our first year in the parade, the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And it teaches a lesson. When you participate, everything is more meaningful. That's true of the town. You participate in the town, it's more meaningful, you get more back, and the town benefits from it. We were in the parade, we had great fun. I know it was cold, but none of us felt it. We were just so upbeat about it. But anyway, I did want to talk about a couple things at the library. First, the library and all the friends and the people who use the library are really appreciative of what the council has done and the funding to do the exterior restoration of the building. It is spectacular. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, they should go look at it. Looks like a new building. The inside is going to have a lot of transformations also, including, among other things, we're working with the library to create community meeting and educational use space in the basement. So we're going to reorganize, move out old shelves. I say we, it's a collective process. We have contractors, we're working with the library. The Friends are going to be funding either all or mostly all of that project, but it's really intended to benefit the community. Now, I did want to mention a couple of things, we do have what we call a celebration. Our celebration will be a Friends celebration. It's really to thank all the councilmen and women for putting in the money and supporting the work on the library, which is both external and equipment, air conditioning and other things. We thank the mayor, we thank the library board. We're going to thank a lot of people. But it'll also be on April 30th, we'll be celebrating our 1-year anniversary of the Friends. And we were formed to preserve, support, and strengthen the library. So that's what our task is, which we're going to do it. They'll be April 30th, but as I say, the interior will be transformed by then also. So we will have special guests. Most of them are sitting, many of them are sitting right here at the table, including the township people. What I did want to mention is one of the things the library performs a role, both cultural, educational, and otherwise. So on our educational role, we have put together, with the assistance of the American Friends Service and the ACLU New Jersey version, an immigration rights program. It's intended as educational. It's on Monday, March 27th at 7 o'clock at the library. Everybody's invited. We are going to cover, and I'll just give you some of the basic subjects on it, both a basic immigration law, a selection of qualified advisors to avoid what people call notarial fraud, where people purport to be experts, but they're just out to take money. Know your rights and interactions with the immigrations and customs enforcement, know your rights and interactions with the police, emergency planning and preparation, including powers of attorney and care for children of detained or deported parents. One of the reasons we picked that subject, and this is all part of our overall program of combating bias and promoting diversity, it is really a hot issue that's created a lot of fear within this town. Some towns have a smaller level of, a smaller number of immigrants, so it doesn't create the the concerns, but West Orange has really been concerned. And so we felt this would be, it's intended to be educational. We'll have forums. We'll have people there to explain things that will
Your
be
time is
beneficial.
up.
Okay, well, I thank
Mr. Sweeney,
you.
if you could-
I
if
think
you
I've
could just-
told all the things. I have brochures here I can pass out.
Mr. Sweeney, if you want
5
to...
minutes pass very quickly when
Yes, it does.
you're speaking. Thank you. And I have a brochure in English and Spanish. So I'll pass a couple around this way. And a couple around this way, and I'll leave some Spanish.
Yes.
Is it an email?
Just a second before you start,
Sure.
if you wouldn't mind.
I think he left something here, too.
Sheriff, this is an email. Jerry?
Mr. Sweeney, is this,
I'm sorry.
is this
This isn't mine. I can read from it, but it's
yeah, all right, see, I don't want you to leave.
Jerry, if this is an email, Jerry? Sorry? Okay.
Yeah.
If this is an email and you can send it to the,
Yes, it's an email.
then we can put it on
Not
township.
everyone has a colored printer, so.
No, but we could put it on the township website.
I thought it was on there, and I think I asked Susan a little, but if you can check, that'd be much appreciated, because we want people to know about it. You know, there's lots of good things happening, as everyone pointed out this morning, you had all these announcements, people don't always know about, I'm sorry, yeah, like 5 minutes.
Thank you. Before our next speaker speaks, I just want to note that I see several people here who have spoken previously on the issue of West Essex Highlands and the adjacent property that's the largest developable piece of land in West Orange. And just wanted to note to everybody that Ms. Shirley Bishop, who is our consultant on affordable housing, is here in the audience. She was requested to come here to hopefully answer questions that might be about the redevelopment, not redevelopment, but about the potential development of the adjacent property by Garden Homes that has been the subject of litigation and mediation. And I just wanted to let folks know that there's a late addition to our agenda to have an executive session to actually discuss this subject. So there will be some limits on what we can say publicly, but I just wanted to bring that up. I know previously when we've had Ms. Bishop here, we've asked her to take the questions, and then when we go into executive session, when we come out, she can answer the questions. I just wanted to throw out, because we may, again, be in executive session for a long time, if there are issues that perhaps Ms. Bishop and our town attorney, Mr. Trink, agree that she can answer now, it just might be a little bit easier for everyone else. If there are questions that we do need to discuss on how to answer in executive session, we could sort of put those off, but that way we could perhaps kill all the birds with one stone, as opposed to...
Council President, as we talked about, again, I think it's good to do the public comment as you've got it. Take all the public comment. Ms. Bishop will take notes, I'll take notes, and then at that point, Ms. Bishop can get up, and if that's what the council wants, and just respond to the areas she can respond to at this point. And again, it's not particularly about that development, it's about affordable housing, as you were well aware.
Yes.
Okay.
Please, go ahead.
Okay, Rita Yohalam. I live at 20 Davy Drive in West Orange.
Can you spell your last name? Yeah.
Yohalem.
Thank you.
Okay. First, I do want to say thank you to the town council members, because you've always been responsive to emails and questions and so forth, and we do appreciate the work that you do and the way that you do respond to us. So thank you very much for that. I want to make a comment, and then I do have some questions. They might apply to Ms. Bishop, or they may be some of you members of the board can answer, the town council can answer the questions. As you know, the Highlands exists now as a condo community, 300 homes on 50 acres, and we're 53 buildings. The 120 plus or minus acres that are adjacent to us, and from what I understand, there's somewhere between 65 and 70 acres of buildable land. The numbers vary, but That seems to be what I'm told is possible. And the proposal, or at least what we've heard, is something like maybe 700 units or perhaps 400 that might go in that area, which of course, as you can imagine, is of great concern to us. So, which brings me to the comment, which is within the past 2 years, we had a fire in the West Essex Highlands in one of our units. I've lived there almost 10 years, never had that occurred. This was the first time. And of course, the fire department, the West Orange Fire Department, did a great job. They contained the fire. Nobody was hurt. The place was pretty badly damaged, and it caused a lot of consternation for the people who lived there. However, I thought of it and imagined, what if one of these multi-level buildings went up in flames, or even if one unit had a fire, and we have one road in, one road out, and fire engines are large, and something like that might cause, have the need for multiple engines, multiple other equipment to come in and out of that community. It scared me. It really did, and it worries us a great deal. So with that in mind, one of the questions that I'm asking the town council and perhaps the experts on affordable housing, can West Orange handle a development of that number in this area because of the access question and the volume that would be more than doubled? How can we handle that? What is the solution to that problem? There was, in the past, we know there have been opportunities or attempts at development of that property. There's been expert testimony given over the years. Another question I have is, has the group that's involved with the Fair Housing Commission and the mediation, have you reviewed those testimonies? We have copies of those, and we've read through them. The roads haven't changed. The property there hasn't changed. So many of the concerns that are listed in those reports are still there. And I'm just wondering if during that mediation time, is that the time that these things get discussed? And is that information that should be given to the Fair Housing Commission when you're trying to mediate this issue? Also, in the past, there are two communities that abut us, Verona and Essex Fells. And again, in years past, when development was attempted, Essex Fells and Verona brought lawsuits against either West Orange or the developer, I'm not sure which, in which their situations were resolved because Essex Fells was concerned that Holton Lane abuts the stream and the wet area, watershed area that is adjacent to there, and they did not want development there because it would affect the water flow for them. I understand in the millions of gallons is what they were concerned about, and losing water supply, et cetera. That was for Essex Fells. Verona was concerned about access on Howell, that there was going to be some development up there, perhaps separate from the actual Highlands development, but there were some homes owned by the developer that were being developed in there, and they did not want access through that road because they felt it was dangerous and not accessible, and that was not allowed. And again, I'm asking the question, do these things still stand? Do these rulings still stand? And again, is the Fair Housing Commission aware of those issues? One of the comments that I saw in one of the reports that I read was talking about calling Howell an emergency access, and the engineer or the traffic expert said something like, you know, an access road is kind of a feel-good word to make people feel as though there's another way out. The truth is that it's not usually accessible. And when was the last time you saw an access road plowed
Your
during
time
a
is
storm?
up.
So again, a question: is that something that the Fair Housing Commission is aware of and takes into consideration when you're doing your mediation? Another question is...
Ma'am, your time is up.
Ms. O'Hallam, if you could just finish up in about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Please.
The last question really had to do with the financial cost to the township based on new development. Doesn't always bring revenue, it also brings increased costs. And I wanted, when will we know what happens with the mediation? Will we have any say in the public hearing, or is it a done deal that the mediator and the Fair Housing Commission, they come together, they make a decision, and then that's it? Do we ever get a comment? Do we ever get a chance to say anything? So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Mr. Steele, would you like to come up? Is there anyone else who's interested? Yes, please come up to the front row, and that way we can get ready. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak?
Ask a question.
Okay. Anyone else? Raise your hand. Please come on down to the first or second row. Just speed things up, please. Mr. Steele, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Ken Steele, S-T-E-L-E. I'm the director of CERT in West Orange. To become a member of CERT, it's very, very difficult. You go online, you go to westorangecert.org. There's a snapshot of what we do. There's a link how to get in touch with us, or you can call 973-902-6653. That's a direct line to me. That's it.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, please. The woman in the sweater. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for hearing my questions. My name is Susan Brint, B-R-I-N-T. I live at 2 Curry Lane. I'm concerned about the development of the 120-acre site, the Highland site, Block 179, Lot 32. And I know that this site has a long and complicated history, but I am relatively new to these issues, so you will have to be a bit indulgent with me if I ask redundant questions that you've already answered a million times before. I just have these questions nevertheless. In 2004, I understand that the developer of this potential developer did negotiate with the township, and that in fact the township did sign an agreement with the developer. In that agreement, this is my understanding, I've never read the agreement, that the township permitted double housing density on 95 acres in exchange for a 25-acre set-aside. And if that is true, are these the same 25 acres that are designated steep slope? I don't know if this agreement is still now in effect, and if it's not in effect, is there any agreement between the developer, Garden Homes, or West Essex Highlands, Inc., or any of their affiliates, between the township and West Orange currently in effect, which would cover this property? If there is an agreement, is it recorded? I mean, is there a book and page so that I can see the agreement? My second question is the issue of the traffic signal at the corner of Oval Road and Eagle Rock Avenue. The township engineer has indicated to me that whoever develops that particular parcel will be obliged to install a traffic signal at the corner of Oval Road and Eagle Rock. This intersection is quite close to another traffic light at Laurel Road and Eagle Rock. I believe the distance between them is approximately 1/10 of a mile. And I guess what I'm looking for here is an assurance in some way that whoever has control over the traffic signal on Eagle Rock and Oval, whether it's the county or the township, will not subsequently decide that the distance between the two lights is too short to be feasible, that some traffic study will show up or another report will show up that will indicate that the light will be too close together and that the developer would therefore be relieved of its obligation. This would leave the residents of the Grand, West Essex Highlands, and any residents in the proposed development in the same situation we are in today, but with double or even triple the amount of traffic. It's extremely difficult to turn left from Oval onto Eagle Rock Avenue due to the curve in Eagle Rock Avenue, which hinders our view of oncoming cars, especially those traveling over the speed limit. And during rush hours, there is, at least twice a day, during morning and evening rush hours, there is very heavy traffic on Eagle Rock, which makes the left-hand turn quite difficult. So those are my two questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Please raise your hand.
I'm sorry. Alan Yohallam, 20 Davy Drive, same spelling as the other Yohalam. I also want to talk just a bit about the potential development. My wife has raised questions, but I have a couple of comments. One being that it appears that the town, which in many of its planning stages had designated that area as being undeveloped, as remaining as undeveloped land, and that's part of some of the plans that the Planning Commission has put forward over the years. There's also an indication that County Executive DiVincenzo is in favor of maintaining that property as undeveloped, as evidenced by a 1906 letter that he sent to then Mayor McKeon, which was reinforced recently at the last series that we went through. So I'm sort of concerned that not only do all of the physical conditions that were brought up at the time of the last discussion and the last proposal that was made by the developer, all those are still in effect: steep slope, wetlands. The traffic is the one that obviously is the most disturbing, because the volume of traffic that would go through the only available egress, okay, is through the Highlands, and those roads are not designed for that kind of traffic at all. The other thing that I would like to mention, and I'm sure that the town and the council are aware of it, is that the history of the developer and the developer's failure to abide by many of the agreements that they have made with many, many other towns. I'm looking here at an article that was, let me get the date, northjersey.com, and I believe it was a year or 2 years ago in February, about the developer, meaning Garden Homes, was willing to agreed to settle a $225,000 fine with towns in North Jersey and Bergen County, and they have been in violation of many, many of their agreements, primarily concerned with pollution of water streams. And I know we have an area up in that particular area which is a feed to one of the water flows. So I would be very, very concerned of that. Also be very concerned from the standpoint of the people who live in the surrounding communities, which is obviously one of ours, of damage being done either through flooding or any other kind of damage. And I would strongly suggest that if the town has any leverage in terms of negotiation with this developer, assuming again development is going to go forward, that that money be put away in escrow to protect the town from problems, and certainly to protect the local people who live there from flooding, which has occurred previously. When I believe when the Grand was built, there were instances of flooding, and also the fact that damage to roads, damage to anything else that could be done. And from my way of thinking, I would not trust these people at all. So that if there is money that can be put into escrow, I would suggest strongly that that be a point of leverage for the town in their negotiations with them. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Mr. Puglisi. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight? Please raise your hand. Oh, you're going to, okay.
Alan Grossman, 4 North Culling Place. Last night, I was at the West Orange Board of Education meeting, which was pretty contentious with what the budget situation. It seemed I'm often to sort of disconnect as we talk about developments, whether it be this one or the Edison or anything else. And we're now facing, I guess, a $3 million at best deficit in the budget. Last night they said, and that's with a 2% increase in taxes for the town. And then now they're talking about a new preschool for the Hazel, Washington area, which would be another $250,000 plus whatever staff. So basically we're bursting at the seams already with our schools. Now we're talking about all kinds of new building, you know, the Highlands, course, Edison, now, of course, down in the valley. And then you go to these meetings at the education group, and they can't even handle what's going on right now. And that's, if they go, there was another option that would even have a $5 million deficit in the schools. So I was just wondering whether it is, the council, I'm sure there are meetings, I'm hoping, of what type of strategies are being thought about to deal with this, because as the state and federal government keep cutting, and we keep getting more special needs, we keep getting more of all kinds of things in this town for education. We just can't handle it now, and now with all these new people coming in, I know how it's going to be handled.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Puglisi?
Hi, Anthony Puglisi, representing County Executive DiVincenzo. Just want to highlight, I had placed a magazine that we publish on a semi-regular basis. It outlines all of the activities that are happening throughout the Essex County Park System. I was going to read the whole thing, but it's about 20 pages, and I know you have a busy agenda. But it has events happening at Turtleback Zoo, Cody Arena, our golf courses, and throughout the whole park system, like I said. Again, all that information is also on our website, which is EssexCountyNJ.org. And I just want to put a simple thought of spring in your head. Last week we were battling snow, but in about 2 weeks the cherry blossoms will bloom in Branchford Park. So if anyone has an opportunity to come down and check that out, we're anticipating bloom season to occur between April 8th and 23rd. So hope to see everybody there.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Puglisi. I see a hand. Please. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Please raise your hand. Yes, please, come up.
Okay, good evening. Mariel Clemenson, 4 Cherrywood Circle in West Orange. It's a little bit of a dry topic. This is the upcoming budget review on April 8th. A number of us have been meeting in the last few weeks and month to evaluate the benefits of getting the West Orange Citizens Budget Advisory Committee up and running again. Long story short, and to keep it within the time frame, we thought we might continue to evaluate that and then come back to you and ask a request for each of you to appoint those of us interested in serving on the Budget Committee for this year. But in the meantime, we thought it might be helpful for you to hear ahead of time, rather than after the fact when you can't do anything, ahead of the budget hearing, some of the suggestions that we came up with. First of all, we think you might be interested in asking the administration. Well, first of all, I want to say West Orange is indeed blessed with a AA rating, which is one of the highest ratings you can have. And Essex County is, at least in the town. Let's see, what was it? It was the hearing or the annual statement that DiVincenzo made recently. He was saying something about wanting to even get a AA+. That was one of his objectives. Anyway, it's really hard to maintain a AA when New Jersey is going to be lowered. I mean, there are all the conditions in place for that to be lowered perhaps over the next 2 to 5 years. So against that and a trend toward increased spending, you might want to ask some of the following questions to the administration when they propose the budget. What is the projected, and by the way, I sent each of you an email tonight late, so you'll get this all in writing.
Okay.
What is the projected tax levy and the tax rate based on the April 8th proposed budget? What is the level of tax base that the administration is expecting? How will that differ from the previous year? Based on last year's audit, what are the outstanding issues and how will those be addressed? There's a specific ordinance, 267.1 in the budget. It requires a budget preparation to be accompanied by a narrative. And a narrative would mean a sentence or paragraph describing each of the major items. Mm-hmm. It makes it easier for you to understand what's being requested. A lot of other townships use this. It's quite common in any budget. So it's called a budget narrative. And you can require it. And it would be helpful to see this put out. Also, something I've mentioned before, seeing a capital plan in a narrative form for the next 3 to 5 years, you know, you don't want to be surprised by things. You'd like to know ahead of time what are the major buckets of spending that the township will be looking at over the next 3 to 5 years. What is the likely rate of increase this year for municipal property taxes, and what's the impact on the average homeowner? Very important for all of us to know that ahead of time. The annual surpluses are one thing that contribute to our strong AA rating, among other factors. Can the administration propose a written budget reserve and surplus policy that you can evaluate and maybe make suggestions to? Can you see? You need to see probably a quarterly or at least a semi-annual preparation of what the actual spending has been versus the prior year's budget. Because otherwise it's impossible for you to know. You know, you just see this static piece of paper and you know, there's a dynamism going on throughout the year. So it would be really helpful for all of us to be able to see a quarterly or at least a semi-annual display of what the actual spending is versus the budget by category. With interest rates starting to go up, what is the projected mix of short to long-term debt? How do you expect to be able to meet the expected annual debt service 3 to 5 years into the future? Insurance commissions, both in dollar and percentage rates, what are we doing or can we do to reduce these costs? As I recall, they're 7.5% commission rates, which sounds very high to me. And then there's a very specific item, I won't get into it, you can see it, but the bottom line is that there's a ratio of outstanding debt to property value which the state allows. West Orange, because it's AA rated, is way under that statutory limit. That's a good thing. And it's okay to go up a little bit. Well, we're kind of inching up toward the higher limit, and it might be nice to know how does all this plan out over a 3 to 5 year period. I'm sure you want to maintain the AA rating. I think I've heard that from you before. But believe me, when New Jersey starts, when there's pressure on the state to go downward, then, which I think will happen, you're going to want to really keep track of what the metrics will be.
Your time is up.
Those are the important questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Please raise your hand. Seeing no more hands, I'm going to close public comment and ask Council and Administration if anyone would like to respond. And just to remind, go ahead, Mr. Trank.
I don't know if you wanted to do Ms. Bishop and I to respond on that narrow issue before the council. It's up to you.
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable answering now, I'd like to do that, please. Thank you, Mr. Trank.
So I'll start in, I don't know that there's a lot additional, but obviously Ms. Bishop can respond. So I'm not aware, Ms. Yahalman asked about lawsuits from Essex Fells and Verona. They certainly did not sue West Orange. To the extent they have sued the developer, that is probable, and that would be public record. But I am not aware that the township was a party in those actions. With regard to the question that Ms. Britt asked, there is no written or other agreement between Garden Homes and the township on any level. It has been various aspects of litigation that have existed over the years, but there is no current agreement at all. There cannot be development on the wetlands and the wetlands buffers and on what I'll call the 25 acres on the easterly slope, which is the steep slope. That's why when there's 125 acres, and when you hear the numbers 65 or so buildable acres, that's the buildable acres. So that is not the steep slope, and that is not the wetlands, and that is not the wetlands buffers. So I am not aware of any determination that was ever made that the entire property is undevelopable. It's quite the opposite. That is not the information that's ever been in the record. There has been litigation. There was a planning board process which rejected 136 single-family homes. Any project that is proposed will go before the planning board. And with regard to other potential violations that Gardens Homes may or may not have had, Obviously, we'll accept any information you have. They have to comply with the law. We are not allowed to use the basis that a property owner that owns property has violated the law as a basis to reject the project. But we certainly can and will be vigilant on every aspect of enforcing any laws of the state or the township that we are authorized to enforce. Finally, with regard to the traffic signal, as that is a county road. So yes, every aspect of every project has always envisioned that there will be a traffic light installed by the developer at the intersection of Oval and Eagle Rock Avenue. Once that traffic light is installed, it's county property. So the question or the concern that was articulated was that somehow the developer would control the traffic signal. They have no control. They actually fund it, and then they're done. It's then dedicated, and it's owned by the county. So again, Mr. Puglisi and his colleagues would control it at that point, and they obviously will control it in conformance with applicable law. Mr. Holloman referenced some letter from the county exec in 1906. I know the county exec may be older than most of us, but I want Mr. Puglisi to tell him that he was writing letters in 1906. I assume he meant 2006. I'm not familiar with the letter. Obviously, the county exec has certain rights and powers, and I do know that that he is sensitive to all the issues that the township is sensitive to and is fully cooperative. So those are the issues that I think, Councilman Thrill.
Yeah, there was one that we missed, and that's and thank you, Mr. Trank, for responding to the questions and concerns. The issue of building codes, whether or not if there's a fire, how do we assess whether or not the municipality is able to respond at certain densities?
As our dean of the council will tell you, that clearly the fire department will be actively involved in any planning process, as you would expect. And that is taken into account with regard to the breadth and width and of the access and egress. And again, to go to the point about Howell Drive, again, there will be emergency access, but it will not. It's emergency access. That's what it means. And it's specifically for this issue, as I'm sure Councilwoman McCartney will say, that God forbid there is that kind of emergency issue. Fire trucks can get through anything. You know.
I understand. I just want to make sure that the information is shared for the benefit of the public.
There will always be. That's what the planning board does. And I'm sure Councilwoman McCartney will discuss it. That really all that happens as part of, and this is what I'm sure Ms. Bishop can get up and explain, is the fact that we now have the affordable housing gloss or overlay is the fact that in the state of New Jersey, we all have a regional obligation to provide housing for all of our neighbors in this region. So all it's doing is saying that if you have this, we'll call it 60 to 65 acres of developable land, you cannot ignore that obligation. We as a community, we as a state, we as a region have to provide affordable housing. That's the law in New Jersey. That's the law that West Orange will fully comply with. So all it does is say, okay, there's a tract of land, it's 65 acres, it's developable. There's got to be a component of affordable housing. Basically, the general law Ms. Bishop will comment on is 15% if they're rental, 20%, again, I defer to the expert, Ms. Bishop, if it's for sale. So that's the law, and that's what we're going to comply with in conformance with it. So all that affordable housing says is, okay, you got to have that component. Now you still have to go through the planning process. So when people got up and made the point that there was testimony before the planning board that there might be certain issues with regard to, all those issues are fully vetted before the planning board. So the fire department is an excellent one. If the fire department says the road has to be X length, which is all set forth in the Residential Standards Act, then that's going to be the way the roads are going to be. You know, there's nothing about affordable housing that supplants the fire safety issues. It just says when you figure out the project, you got to have a component that's affordable housing.
Rich, just to be clear,
Absolutely.
My recollection is because I, as you know, handled this litigation many years ago in one of its prior iterations. Verona and Essex Fells, I believe, were both involved in that litigation. They had intervened. Almost all these issues were dealt with in that litigation in some fashion or another. Including the emergency vehicle access issues. So
and it was accommodated.
Yes.
Exactly. So again.
Thank you, Mr. Trent.
I think those were, again, someone raised an excellent point about dealing with potential damage during construction or whatnot. There are bonds that are put up. That's the law, and they will be required just like any other developer in this town. So there's nothing that's going to happen in the affordable housing issues that will supplant those requirements. I think those were the major issues, but I'm going to defer to Ms. Bishop as to specifics as to affordable housing.
Thank you. Mr. Trank articulated the answers to the questions quite well, which leaves me with very little to say other than every municipality in the state of New Jersey has the constitutional obligation to provide for its fair share of low and moderate income housing. Because all of the municipalities' affordable housing obligations are now in the Superior Court, Fair Share Housing Center, which is the housing advocacy group that brought the original lawsuit before the New Jersey Supreme Court, has now come out with numbers of affordable housing obligations for every municipality in the state of New Jersey. And in the numbers, West Orange was given an obligation of 1,362 affordable units to be produced between now and 2025. Fair Share Housing Center has given a 30% reduction on these numbers, and the number is now 953, which all of us readily understand that number is unrealistic to provide in West Orange. As a result, there is being prepared a vacant land adjustment, taking every site that's vacant in West Orange, seeing the developable acres, taking out any and all environmental constraints, and coming up with what is known as a realistic development potential. That number has not been finalized. But in addition, on this chart of vacant land is also any potential redevelopment sites that will be added in. So once West Orange knows what its realistic development potential is, then a plan will be prepared. But because Garden Homes intervened in the West Orange litigation, they now are part of the mediation, and their site meets the criteria to be included in the plan. The mediation is currently underway. All of the concerns that you addressed, I want you to understand, your West Orange Council and administrators are totally sensitive to all of the questions that you have raised. And in the course of mediation, they will be looking at all of those issues, and they will hopefully come up with a plan that is in the best interest of West Orange, but also provides for addressing the affordable housing obligation, so that after this is over, West Orange will have a period of repose from any builder's lawsuit until the year 2025. And that's what the towns are hoping for and will expect once they go through this process. Thank you.
You may also want to just let people know you had an excellent presentation, I believe 2 council meetings ago. If anybody really wants to dig into this, they can go look at the council meeting from, I believe it was March 7th. I'm sorry?
February 21st, I believe. We didn't have a video last
time.
Oh, right.
February 21st.
Yes.
February 21st.
February 21st. There's also a detailed document on the town website. I think it's sort of rolled off the homepage. I'll see if I can get the link restored to the homepage. That also provides material background on where this has been and where it may be going.
And, Council President, Ms. Bishop, at the town's expense, is going to go to Wessex Island on Tuesday night, and I know that the community has been informed of that. I don't know the start time is 7 o'clock or whatnot. 7:30. Ms. Bishop is looking
I'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to respond? Public comment? Councilwoman?
It's not really much more I can say. Richard very articulately described everything really that we did discuss at the planning board. This was quite a lengthy application that all of the concerns that Mrs. Yohalam and Mr. Yohalam raised, every one of those was vetted out at the planning board meeting during that application, and it was denied at that time. Ms. Brint talked about the, being new to the process. At our last meeting, we kind of went over that we're talking about 25 acres of steep slope. We mentioned about there's approximately 31 acres of wetland, and there's a required 100-foot buffer that would equal about 4 acres. There's also a recommendation that open space does have to preserve on there. Mr. Trank did mention that that brings the 125 acres down to about down to 64 developable lots. And that's pretty much where we are. We do have, what Ms. Bishop just mentioned, we do have a list of all of the concerns from the West Essex Highlands that, again, very respectfully, I think my colleagues and the administration and Ms. Bishop have sat with the board and their legal counsel during these mediation process so that everyone can be heard and that all of the issues are raised and addressed during mediation. The letter, I think, that Mr. Yoham presented, during the planning board application, there was standing room only. There was a group of people that were looking to preserve the space. And of course, it does say in our master plan that that would be what we would like to do, preserve it, but we know it's not for sale. We know it's going to be developed. But at that time, there were a group of people looking at the Trust for Public Land and the Land Conservancy to see if there were funds that could be raised for it at that time. So I think that's when letters came from the county, assembly people supporting that idea. We do have letters from the fire department, again, not now because there's nothing before us as far as an application goes. It was during that time it was denied for a lot of the reasons that you just addressed, and that hasn't changed. The topography of the land hasn't changed, the road hasn't changed. These are all things that would have to be addressed. You mentioned Essex Fells and Verona. They were at all of those planning board meetings and they listened to everything during that time. Marielle, we're so glad to see you, and yes, of course, I was pleased that you were the Budget Advisory Committee. I guess if you do have names, it did die off except for yourself, so we appreciate all of your comments and all of your diligence. If you have names, you said that there's a group that's meeting. If you have names to share with my colleagues, maybe that can be resurfaced again. I think that's all I have. Jerry, thank you for the gala notice, and also the immigration. The West Orange Hispanic Foundation also had an excellent, informative presentation a few Sundays ago. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman?
Thank you, Council President. First of all, Mr. Steele, thank you for your overview, and I hope the residents reach out to you, and it's a great thing. It's great for people who want to really get involved in town also to, I have said to many people when I was a volunteer fireman back then, way back then, and I wanted to be a fireman, I was part of an organization just like CERT. I was a volunteer fireman. I took the fire department exam, and because of my experience on what we called our CERT, I was right at the top of the list, but then I decided to become an accountant, and the rest is rock and roll. So thank you, Ken. Thank you for being here. Mr. Trank and Ms. Bishop, thank you again for your input. It's such a complicated and such an issue that it needs, people of your nature to explain it in the proper way so people get the true idea of what they're doing. And your comments that, yes, the town council is every one of us are very sensitive to the residents and their opinions and their feelings, and we know, and they should know that we think about them. We don't just say, okay, thank you for coming. We take this into consideration. So I'm not going to go back and repeat what my council colleague, Councilwoman McCartney said, but, these things are all in the works, and we're out there for your best interest, so do believe that. Mr. Sweeney, thank you. Thank you for all the Friends of the Libraries. I just have a question, okay? It's like, are the Board of Trustees in a library approving things that you're doing? Like you say you want to build these rooms and everything else. I'm just curious.
We communicate, but they haven't disapproved.
Okay.
What we do, and we presented, we had a plan.
Okay.
Want me to answer this?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Sure. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. The answer is that we communicate with them, we laid out what our plan is, and they have supported it.
Okay.
But no one has to officially approve it. A lot of things, we are an independent group, but we work with the library, and our
No,
objective is we work with the library board also.
No, I understand it, sir. What I'm saying is, but the Board of Trustees run the library.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that they're being
The
involved.
Board of Trustees run the library. We're an independent 501c3 nonprofit corporation, yes.
And I appreciate what you do, sir. And the whole group, I do.
It's the whole team that's doing it, so, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for your continued support for the library. On another note, I just want to thank the county. I got to thank Mr. Puglisi. Please thank the county for all the efforts they've done on our part, particularly with pedestrian safety, the use of the educational center, the support from the county engineers department, and the input from both county police, the county executive, and the Board of Freeholders working with our board. So please pass my thanks and our thanks back to the County of Essex. We really appreciate it. Mariel, if we can get people to volunteer for the board, it'd be great. We need more people to volunteer for boards like the Citizens Budget Committee. So if you have any names, please pass them on to us, and it'd be great to hear and great to interview these people, see what they bring to the board and what they'd be able to help us with. So thank you. The last thing I want to talk about, Mr. Grossman, thank you for your comments, but I just want people to... everybody's got to get out of the habit of saying, with these buildings going up at West Orange, all these school kids coming in. Well, you're not 100% right. Because just in my neighborhood alone, over the past 18 months, there's 35 additional school children who just moved in from single-family homes that are turning over. The great thing about West Orange right now is that, according to all my realtors who I speak to, the housing trend is great. Houses are turning over very, very quickly. These are all young families. So do understand, we want people to come in, we want this, but don't just think that it's any development going up is bringing all these children in, because they're coming in naturally just by the fact that people are turning over their homes, and these are young families. Just on my street alone, on Belgrade Terrace, in the last 11 months, 10 houses have turned over for way above their asking price, and there are 16 children coming into the school system. So I just want people to understand that that's what's going on. Your point is well taken, Alan, really, and thank you. I'm glad you went to that meeting and not us. Okay. But just to let people know, the town is growing, and just because the development's going up doesn't always mean there's going to be thousands of school children coming in from the development, not from Main Street, not from Central Avenue or whatever. It's a natural progression of the town. There was a time in West Orange where the population was going down, the school population was going down. We inadvertently sold Fairmont School to, Solomon Schechter, and other schools, but now it's turning around. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But thank you very much, Council President.
Councilman?
Thank you, Council President. With respect to the Highlands, we are down to 65 buildable acres from 125. So not only this council, this administration, but the previous councils and the previous administrations have implemented initiatives and ordinances to try to limit development and protect open space in what we call smart growth. I would go back to the 70s and 60s. Before I was alive, I would say that we're really behind as it relates to how we really paid attention to the level of development that was going on in these natural habitats. And I look at these plans, and I really have to commend some of the folks that have vision to try to protect some of the, some of the open space that you neighbor. We have the steep slope ordinances, we have the tree ordinances, we have buffers, zones, we have sightline ordinances, in order for us to try to make sure that we maintain the quality of life that we know and your property value. So the point that I'm making to you is that, and Shirley, thank you for that compliment, know that we're doing the best that we can to try to safeguard, because it's in our best interest, because we're property owners as well. We may not live in the Highlands, but we also pay property taxes, and our property values are affected by a lot of the issues that you bring forth by affordable housing matters. So we're here, we're trying to find the right balance between smart growth, individual property rights. Don't forget that, those folks have a right. It's their property. And also, being responsible stewards. Your input is important. We want to know what you feel, and then we take that to the table, and we try to figure out how we can address those perspectives and those positions. So just be assured. I know that I recall the councilwoman bringing the issues of school children to the table, thinking about that as a very important factor with respect to the levels of density that should be talked about or negotiated. So all these issues, just be assured that we're trying our best, and hopefully at the end of the day, we're never going to be happy, but at least we can get a little bit of what we're looking for. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we'll keep negotiating. We have some really, really good experts on our side. Shirley is a renowned statewide for for negotiating these matters throughout the state. She's the best. I tell you, I know. Joe's over there. She knows Shirley. He knows Shirley is the best out there. So, along with Mr. Trank, we have a really good team negotiating for us. So, we'll keep that. We'll keep moving forward. And the other issue, and Jerry, I commended you for your work. The other issue that we spoke about is the budget. Alan, we're sharpening our pencils. April 8th is our budget hearing here on a Saturday morning. We'll be here. We're going to start taking a look at those numbers line by line. Mariel Clemenson, please, as always, give us your input. And I started to read your email. I didn't finish it, but I did write down your recommendations. And as you know, it's matters that we spoke about and we speak about and we communicate on a yearly basis. The debt to property value ratios and all that, bond ratings, etc. So anyhow, thank you all for coming in. We'll keep plugging away. We'll keep working for you here. Council President, thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I make any comments, I just wanted to defer to Mr. Gross, our Chief Financial Officer, because Ms. Clemenson, who has been with the Citizens Budget Advisory Commission through thick and thin and has raised a number of good issues, I'm just wondering if Mr. Gross has any response to any of them.
Not so much of a response other than an acknowledgement of what our processes are and the information that's before. I did have a chance to review, I won't say I've read in depth, your email from 6:39 tonight, which I think outlined the same items that you were speaking about. And I would say, quite frankly, for the most part, most if not all, we are already providing at different stages during the budget process. And I just wanted to note, while the hearing is April 8th, there actually is the hearing, then there's an introduction of the budget, then there's always been an amendment to the budget, and many times after that, even another meeting for the final adoption. So while as important as the April 8th meeting is, which is when the council will sit down and look over line by line and decide, how they feel about the department head's requests for this year's budget. The council also has opportunity to make decisions about this budget moving forward at those following up, as many as 1, 2, 3, 4 following meetings. So not only at those times with the introduction, and also there's a lot more information that will be provided to the public in terms of the narratives that are in the budget document themselves, as well as the user-friendly budget, which will now be introduced as of this year, will be produced this year at introduction. So there'll be a lot more information for the public as well. So I'm going to review more in depth the email to make sure that we're touching all the bases that we can, and point out where, and indicate if we are doing it, make sure that the public's aware that we're doing it. So we'll move forward on that.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. And just as a follow-up, the April 8th meeting is on a Saturday. If we can't get it done on a Saturday, it will also adjourn to the next Sunday, the next day. And you're more than welcome to come. We usually start at 9 o'clock. And go till late in the day, and you're more than welcome to come. And the only caveat is that there is no allowance for public comment at this meeting. So if there's anything that you wanted to say, you could send it to the council ahead of time or by email, but not actually at the meeting. Just want to say, Mr. Sweeney, thank you very much for coming and promoting the Friends of the West Orange Public Library. So everybody knows it's a support group for our library, and there's a variety of ways you can support, including becoming members and contributing money. If you'd like to do that, we have an online process. You just go to wopl.org, click on the Friends box at the top of the page, and you can go through the process of either signing up as a member or making a donation. Mr. Steele, thank you very much for coming. I don't think we can promote your group often enough. Just a reminder, West Orange, CERT.com. Mr. Grossman, you raise a very good point about school-age children, because when we, as a township, increase the housing stock, we do make a change in the process of rollover. So you have the potential for more school-age children. One of the issues is that a lot of these new units are coming through the form of the redevelopment law. And what the redevelopment law does is it gives long-term tax exemptions for as long as 30 years. And during that tax exemption, the redevelopment that is added on the property does not pay any revenue or any taxes to the schools for the 30 years. And so that's a significant impact. Not only is it potentially expanding the number of children coming to the schools, but then it doesn't provide the revenue for them. So it's just something that we have all expressed concern about, and it is a very difficult problem, because if we have to build another school, it's going to be a tremendous amount of increase in our school taxes. I just wanted to say, to follow up on Councilwoman McCartney's comment that the group, Citizens Budget Advisory Committee, sort of waxes and wanes. She said they died off. People didn't actually literally die off, but it's a big challenge to really get into the numbers of the budget, and sometimes people just can't spare the time or the interest. So I just wanted to make that clear. But it's quite heartening to see you come to the meeting tonight and to promise a list of people that we could appoint. And I'd like to get that done sooner rather than later. I have not read your email, so thank you. In terms of garden homes and the affordable housing situation, it is a difficult situation for the township, and for the township council as part of that, because we do not have the ultimate authority or the ultimate determination of what's going to happen there. This is part of a litigation, and the decision is going to be made essentially by a judge. And what we're trying to do right now through the mediation is to find, it's a three-part mediation. We have the Fair Housing Center, and then we also have the intervenor Garden Homes. And Garden Homes is in this litigation because it promises to provide affordable housing that can contribute to the fulfillment of the town's obligation, and that's why they're there. But as I think Mr. Trank pointed out, only 15% of the units would be affordable, and the rest of them will be are proposed to be luxury units. And we're really trying to juggle all of the aspects of the concerns of the neighbors, and also the impact, again, to the schools and very much to the traffic. And the mediation is supposed to be confidential. It is confidential. And so we're really limited on the information at this point that we can provide to you. But just as soon as we can provide the information, we certainly will. So thank you. I want to move on to the next agenda item, Madam Clerk.
Okay, we're going to review the consent agenda. Approval of minutes of previous meeting, public meeting of March 7th, 2017, and executive session minutes from February 21st, 2017.
Consent.
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 Report of township officers, none. Reading of petitions and communications and bids, none. Bills, are there any questions on the bills?
Consent.
Resolutions, are any resolutions being pulled this evening?
Council President, could I, point of order?
Certainly.
Could we just maybe suggesting go right to our executive session and work on that and then come back out to our regular agenda? Because I don't see any ADC or anything that, most of the public is leaving. So I figured we can, go into our executive session. I guess Ms. Bishop and Mr. Trank will be involved in that, so.
Absolutely. The only thing is I do see Pastor Smith here on a specific resolution, and
People here for the resolution.
I don't know if we have that much, and obviously Mr. Albert's here on the resolution, so I'm not sure if there's a lot of inquiry or questions, but they could probably address them, and maybe you could allow the exposition.
Okay, sorry, Council
Well,
President.
no, that's a good suggestion. Is there any, Councilman Cirillo or Councilwoman, do you have any feeling on that? I'm of the opinion that I would be surprised if anybody pulls a resolution tonight, but is anyone planning on pulling a resolution? Right.
Okay.
Right, exactly, and I think we can get through this pretty quickly. The other thing is, we do have to pass the...
Consent agenda.
Well,
Or that.
we certainly have to pass the resolution for an executive session
Right.
before we move on. So I'm thinking we don't need to pull any resolutions, so
Did you have a question that needed to be?
Yeah, I have some questions, but I wanted to throw it out to my colleagues first.
Just ask the questions.
Okay. Any, Councilwoman, would you?
No, I don't.
Okay. I just had a question on a couple of different pieces of legislation. One is agenda item D, that's Resolution 80-17, resolution approving the financial agreement between the Township of West Orange and Valley Road Residential Urban Renewal. This is a redevelopment area for 100 units down in the valley, in between Mitchell and Central Avenue. I'll let Mr. Chink take it away. I just had some questions from the documents that we're looking at. My first question, maybe you want to give background, I'll throw the questions out.
So again, Richard Trank, Township Attorney. For the members of the public, everyone is aware this is an approved project. This is the West Orange side of Harvard Press. This project has been in the works for many years. The orange side of Harvard Press has broken ground on President's Day. And again, as was mentioned before by Mr. Sweeney, I think everyone in the town should drive by and see the project as it's going up. So specifically, on behalf of Valley Road Residential Urban Renewal, LLC, the Albert Group, and Joe Albert is here, and I'd ask him to come up because he has been involved in this for over a decade and is prepared to basically respond to, you can come up, Joe,
yes,
to respond to the 5 different areas of inquiry that the Council President had. So I'm going to defer to Mr. Albert. And we can,
Sounds good.
Maybe you want to read the question and he'll answer.
Sure. I was just going to say, I just want to acknowledge that you were here at the last council meeting and spoke extensively, and I really appreciate it. I just had some, I just consider them perfunctory questions, and I don't know whether you've gotten the questions.
I went over it.
Okay.
I read it to him, so he was.
Okay.
You should read it.
If you read, I
Okay.
don't. I didn't
Okay, so
memorize.
essentially, I think it was maybe 3 years ago, we approved a financial agreement.
Yes.
And a lot of this, and now it's coming back. And I'm just trying, one of my questions was, why is it coming back? What has changed in the law, and what has changed in the agreement as a result?
Sure. Nothing's changed in the law. The only thing that's changed over the years, we've tried many different financial models to get to where we are today. The payment in lieu of tax resolution that was prior approved by the council anticipated using the NJHMFA as my mortgage lender. They have their own statute for the payment in lieu of tax. I'm no longer using the NJHMFA as my permanent lender, so I have to go under the state statute. The financial terms of the agreement are identical to what you guys approved about 3 years ago. I'm not allowed to use that resolution, so I'm going, because we're reapplying for the funds in May, I'm using the new resolution.
Okay, so who is the new long-term mortgage?
It'll be TD Bank will be providing the construction loan and the permanent financing.
Wow. And how long is the permanent financing?
It's a 30-year amortization. it's a 17-year loan, 2 years for construction, 15 years for the permanent mortgage, but it's based on 30-year amortization.
Okay. So that raises the issue because I didn't realize that that TD Bank had become the long-term mortgagee or mortgagor. But does it, mortgagee, thank you. How does that impact or potentially impact the long-term tax exemption? Because if you only need it for the mortgage for 17 years, you're asking for a 30-year tax exemption. Does that?
Yeah, I need the full 30-year exemption to go for the low-income housing tax credits, which is what I'm applying for.
It's required under the law that you have to
They need to have a long-term exemption, yes.
Shirley shaking her head? Yes. Or nodding?
She's
Yes.
in agreement.
Okay, well, in the seventh, in the agreement for the payment in lieu of taxes, paragraph 7, it says that once the tax exemption is ended, the project will be taxed as an omitted property. What is an omitted property, and how might that impact it?
That's a timing issue, Councilor. So, for instance, if it goes on, let's say July 1st, after the tax rate's been set, in order to get it on, it doesn't go on until the following year as an omitted.
Okay. That's perfect.
Thank you. You said that better than I could have. At the end of the 30 years, I do know this, it becomes a fully, assessed property tax. And within the last 15 years, there you do a calculation of the assessed value versus the pilot amount. So by year 30, they need it the same thing. So it's like every other property in the municipality, yes, based on assessment.
And it's a gradual assessment. I think over the 30 years, it ratchets up, I think, 3 or 4 times. I have the numbers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. But I just wanted to, yeah.
Yes. And every time, the good seamless part is every time there's an increase in revenue, there's an increase in revenue to the municipality.
On Exhibit 1C in the application, it asks for the owners of the property or the proposed owners of the property, and there's 5% that's not given. You're 47.5%, and your partners are the other 40%.
The last 5% is hands. And I thought on the disclosure, it said list everyone over 10%. It's a weird form.
Okay.
But the last 5% we're fully disclosed is Hands Inc.
So, again, for people to know, Hands is a nonprofit that has been probably for at least 10 years, maybe longer, trying to revitalize the downtown, not the downtown, but the valley area that's shared between Orange and West Orange, and owns a lot of property and has really revitalized a great deal of that.
Yeah, they helped with Luna Stage and
yes,
the police station and
yes, okay,
had City Kitchen.
Okay. Longer than 10 years.
And that's all the questions that I have.
The only other question here, which I thought was important, and I think you knew the answer, but it's important. If this goes, and the reason, as you know, the town's pressing Mr. Alpert is running down the field is, we expect, you ask, when substantial completion of this project? January 2019. So that's the goal here, for him to get everything in line, start construction by January of 18, and it's 12 months. So that's why it's so important to create that neighborhood.
The beautiful part about the program is we apply May, we find out in July, I start construction January of 2018. I have full working drawings and planning board approval, as Mr. Trent has said. So this is a real project ready to go. And as you see, we're already doing the orange side. As part of the orange side, we took down the Freegan side already. We already are opening up the stream that if you go by, it's really neat. They're actually recreating the stream back to the municipal boundary. So it's a really exciting project that is real now. So we're very excited about it.
And we will be back here after the April, I think it's 5th planning board meeting to ask this council to approve an amendment to the housing plan that Ms. Bishop has drafted that will allow us to take $3 million from our trust account to put another 40 units of the affordable in this building. So it'll go from 15, which is required, to 55 affordable, 45 market, and that will include a $3 million, what we, the town, calls an investment. And it's something that the special master, Ms. McManus, has now issued a letter saying she thinks this town should be commended for being proactive in getting this done, and supporting this effort.
And before anybody freaks out about the town giving $3 million, the money that we are providing is actually money that is contributed previously by developers, again, under that same law. So
It's not tax dollars.
right, it's not, exactly, okay. And yes,
I just want to add one more point. I think we should be commended for choosing Joe, Mr. Alper, and the Alper Group. You moving forward, apply for those tax credits as soon as possible. We don't know what effect the federal budget is going to have on this. We have to be successful this year. Absolutely. If not, we don't know what the future holds. So there's a sense of urgency with respect to federal initiatives going on, budgetary issues.
Yeah, with all due respect to Orange, nothing will make us sadder if Orange gets theirs up and we don't get ours up. We got to get West Orange up because that'll create the community, that'll create safety, that'll put the pressure on New Jersey Transit. I know Councilman Cirillo and other people, including Chief Abbott, are trying to work with New Jersey Transit, getting what we hope will be called the Valley Station. The mayor of Orange is on board with that. To have a Midtown Direct would obviously be a win-win-win for the town.
Absolutely.
And for this project.
Any other questions from the council?
No.
Thank you.
Mr.
Ready
Alper,
to vote.
Thank you, Mr. Alper.
The only other questions I had relate to the legislation, the proposed resolution 8817 and 8917. And it's basically, the administration is asking the council for approval to issue $8.85 million in bonds. And I just wanted to throw that out. That's such a big number, and maybe just explain to everyone why we're doing this and what's going to be the impact on our outstanding debt. Our debt's been going up, I guess, since 2010, maybe by about 30%.
These resolutions, although I wouldn't categorize them as housekeeping, they are not. They really don't have any direct impact on the amount of our debt. It is about how we're funding our debt, for short-term versus long-term. We were very fortunate last year. We planned and executed 2 different bond issues last year, which we brought in at, quite frankly, historic low interest rates in terms of what we have to pay. Basically modern time record in terms of interest rates. And we want to continue that this year. Rates are up a bit, but this will be our last tranche for a while in terms of converting short-term notes over to long-term notes. Part of this has been the timing of this is good luck. It's also good planning, and also in terms of looking at when our other debt obligations have expired. That's also a bit of good luck that in this time frame we're able to smooth out the bumps so that the taxpayers don't feel it directly, because whenever you go wrong, you have to start paying down significantly amounts on the principal, much more than you do on the short notes. So we had notes that came due last year, so that left us the ability to pay for this year, and the same thing as well as in 18. So this is the time frame for us to do this. Ultimately, we believe that we're better off catching. Well, last year we caught the bottom. Right this year we're catching something off the bottom, and rates will probably continue to climb in the near future.
So we've got, at the end of last year, we had about $72.2 million in issued and authorized debt.
This doesn't impact that at all.
And what's actually going to happen is we're going to take out what could potentially become higher cost debt as interest rates go up from the short-term debt, and we're going to convert it to long-term.
Well, we have to go to long-term sooner or later. The question is, we have delayed. We have delayed going long for now, well, 5 years, and last year was 5 years, and since we had done that, we did 2 issues last year. We're doing 1 now. Between last year and this year, we have either converted or refinanced about $29 million. Now that's at a little slightly higher interest rate than the short term, but certainly much less rate than if we waited to when we were forced to do it. And if we waited till we were forced to do it, the rates are declining. We would be much worse off.
Do you know off the top of your head some of the major projects that this money is going for? Or paying for?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but it really is, if you look over the past 4 or 5 years, last year's notes, we did 2009, 2010, 2011. This, maybe, and some 2014. This is 2014 and maybe 2015, part of 2015. So we're catching up so that we're going to have minimal short-term debt, and that's good because that'll allow us to start again. If rates start to go up, we'll still be able to do better on the short-term debt, but we can maintain a lot more of it if we go long now.
Sounds good. Thank you. Any other questions?
I just wanted to just quickly resolution 82-17.
Yes, Mr. Jenkins.
So I want to recognize that Pastor Terry Smith is present tonight. This resolution was not presented to the council lightly. Obviously, as the council can see from the recitals, and as this council knows directly, and the mayor has been involved, and obviously every department of the town, the Life Christian Church has literally not just been a partner in this town, but been a real leader. And this project that they developed on Northfield Avenue beginning in 2004 and leading to the incredible asset to this town, as you can see, under the law has required not just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but literally prayer and financing and whatnot over the last 14 years. So what Pastor Smith and his team have constantly been in contact, because when they pull permits, they can't just do it all in one shot. When Mr. Albert pulls permits, he's going to try to get it done as quickly as possible because he's got construction financing and everything else. It doesn't work the same as we can all appreciate for a nonprofit, and he's done his building in phases. Unfortunately, because of that, the permit fees that he's been assessed, that the church has been assessed, have been in our recommendation duplicative. And so based upon that, after lots of discussion and Mayor Parisi's feeling that this is the fair way to deal with this, over $125,000 in permits have been he's paid, period. The church is paid. So basically, because the permit that the church pulled initially included all, but he had to close it out to get the CO. So once he closes it out, now when you come in for a new permit, they charge you again. And so that's this $29,347 that we're asking the Township Council to permit Mr. Gross and his staff to reimburse. But again, obviously, we all know in this town, when we organize Operation Hope, this church is an integral part of this community for 25 years, and he always opens his doors for any part of the community and for the township. So that's why this is before you. We've never done this before. We don't intend to ever make this a precedent, but under these facts and circumstances, in light of the whole history of this, we believe this is a fair way to resolve this issue, and respectfully request the council's support. So, I don't know if Pastor Smith wants to comment or criticize, but I'll do that in private, I'm sure. But, I think that's the gist of it.
Any other questions?
No.
No, sir.
Madam Clerk?
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is implemented.
I think that concludes our legislative process for this evening. I think now is the time to go into executive session. I don't know how long we're gone, but you're certainly welcome to stay. If you want to read the county executives magazine, I'll leave it up here if you need it to pass the time, and we'll be back just as soon as we can. Good evening. Fortunately, it's not good morning, West Orange. We're back after about roughly 2 hours of an executive session. We talked about a lot, but we can't tell you about it. But as soon as we can, we will, and appreciate everybody's patience. The two people who are left in the audience, I appreciate their patience. Next on the agenda is pending matters, new matters, council discussion. Is there any?
No, sir.
Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, West Orange.
Good night.
We'll see you in a few weeks.